Well, we finally saw it. Arrival was fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody. No, really though, Arrival was really good. Also, we saw Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Also, I still haven't seen Arrival.
Oh, boo. No, it's okay. It's really good. You should see it.
I know.
It's really good. This is a weird start. Yeah, so we saw Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Written by the woman herself, J.K. Rowling, the one who started it all. Do we just want to dive right in?
Zachary, what are your initial thoughts on Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
And we'll try to keep this as spoiler-free as we can for now, and maybe we'll do a bit of a spoiler section somewhere.
Well, I thought the movie was a fun time. I really liked the difference between the British and American wizarding worlds and some of the cliques between the two. And there's a few scenes that are a little odd, but I think overall it's just a fun time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It is fun.
It is. I will have to give it that.
It's all over the place tonally, though.
Yes.
I did not... I mean, it was kind of weird being like, whoa, this is really serious. And then be like, oh good, we're back to lighthearted happiness.
It got darker than any Harry Potter movie has gotten, and anybody who's seen the Harry Potter movies will tell you, like, they get pretty dark, especially for what are considered kids movies. They get to be very much not kids movies, but this got like 70s tense horror movie dark.
There were some weird moments.
For some scenes.
Yeah.
In which it felt very out of place. It felt very strange. I'm gonna be the bad guy of this review. I didn't really like it. There were things about it that I liked a lot. Let's just say right now, Dan Fogler is the MVP of this movie. The guy from Balls of Fury somehow was the hero of a Harry Potter movie.
He was great. He was relatable and interesting and genuinely funny.
Yes.
Because, like, sometimes there's a character when you're like, that's the funny character.
Yeah.
And then there's times where you're like, that character was funny.
Yeah, I got a little afraid when they cast him, because I was like, oh no, the guy from Balls of Fury, that's not a good sign. But he really came through because, not only is he very funny, but you can just tell, like, his heart is right there. Like, you can see it. Like, he's very genuine, he's very likable. And then there's Eddie Redmayne, who I am convinced maybe a robot? I'm not entirely sure.
The jury's still out.
Yeah. We're
a
little biased against Eddie Redmayne.
That would have aided him in being Stephen Hawking, being a robot. Is that mean?
It's a little mean, yeah, to call him a robot. Because he has a serious disease. yeah, that is a little mean. It's fine. He could kill us all with his mind powers anyway.
That's pretty accurate.
He's literally Professor X. Anyway. Yes, Eddie Redmayne has proven that he is a very good actor.
He can really act.
He can be a very amazing actor. This is just not his thing, I think.
He
felt very out of place.
I don't know what his thing is.
He makes a weird face for a lot of the movie. He's constantly like he looks confused in scenes where he shouldn't necessarily be confused. I don't know if David Yates was like intimidated to tell him anything because he was an Oscar winner. Like there were plenty of Oscar winners in the original Harry Potter movie, so I don't see why that would be an issue.
Well, those actors probably just automatically made the right choice.
That's true. Whereas you see Eddie Redmayne doing a thing, it's like, oh, I want to tell you something, but also no, it doesn't even come into it. Like, oh, you won an Oscar, so I shouldn't talk. No, that's not. I'm sure that's not what David Yates was like. He just didn't look like he fit in the movie. He didn't. I was talking about this earlier. The issue with Newt Scamander's character is that you don't really know where he's coming from. Like, Harry is very easily relatable because, he's the audience surrogate character. He's sort of the Keanu Reeves of the movie, where he's supposed to be kind of a blank slate. but you immediately get where he's coming from, because he's you know, he's a kid with very humble beginnings. He comes to a new place and he's treated like a king, and he's very, you know, he's bewildered by all of it, but he's also, you know, he really loves it, and you can see a lot, you know, coming from that character. Newt Scamander, we don't really know anything about him coming in. He loses his pets, and then we sort of find out little things about him along the way, but
hopefully we get more and more information about him.
I think that was kind of an issue with this movie for me, is it felt like there was too much information being withheld. Like, it was simultaneously too much information being thrown out at us and not enough.
There was too much plot and not enough development.
Sure, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, because it's like, okay, yes, we understand these facts now, but also, what is Newt like? Like, we can't tell what his personality is supposed to be, other than permanently confused, which doesn't seem like that was what was on the page. It's just what Eddie Redmayne's face brought to it.
I feel like we could have just had a movie that was Newt comes to New York, some of his pets get out, and then people get roped into helping him find them. And I would have been fine with that being the movie.
Sure.
But we had to have, like...
become the movie for part of it.
and I like when that's the movie. But we have to add, like, this subplot and, like, this big villain and this big climax. And I'm like, we didn't need all this.
There's
Save
a lot
that.
being thrown at
like,
us.
it's a really cool kind of big thing. Put that in... There's supposed to be 5 movies. Put that in at least the 3rd movie.
Is this supposed to be 5?
I heard there was supposed to be 5.
I heard there was going to be 3. Oh my gosh.
No, I heard...
Where's it? Well, then that all the more issue, because Harry Potter perfectly eases you into that world.
Yes.
Perfectly. And I think part of what they thought when making this movie is, okay, well, they already get a lot of magic. Like, they already get a lot of it, so what's the point in, you know, baby steps and easing, you know, them into it? And there's still very much a point to doing that. It's still, like, especially if you have, like, a bunch of movies, take a little time. Breathe a little bit. You don't have to constantly be throwing plot. There's a scene, and again, I'm not spoiling it, but there's a scene where, like, just, like, 8 different things happen, and you're trying to keep track of everything. And so are the characters. I guess it's kind of the point, but it just felt like everybody was confused. It felt like J.K. Rowling was confused while writing it. Like, it felt like she was having a hard time keeping track. J.K. Rowling is obviously an amazing author. We all worship her, but I can see why they needed a screenwriter for the Harry Potter movies, like Steve Kloves, and obviously I have my issues with Steve Kloves, but I also think he did a very good job of adapting the movies for the most part. And writing a screenplay requires a very different set of tools from writing a novel. And J.K. Rowling certainly did some things well, and I don't know how much, you know, rewriting went into it. I can't imagine a lot, just because who wouldn't be terrified to add changes to a J.K. Rowling screenplay? I would be horrified. But it felt like there needed to be some notes. There needed to be some rewrites. Because, again, there's just a lot of information. A lot of new characters. We're getting a lot of things happening to us.
Yeah.
The 2 most likable characters for me were the Dan Fogler character. His name is Jacob. That's why I liked him. Whole reason. No, it's because he's very likable. And then this other character, her name is Queenie. And again, not going to spoil anything about, you know, kind of what happens in the situation, but she's very likable too. And initially, I was like, oh no, Harry Potter's Jessica Rabbit character is kind of what she felt like initially.
It was a little like, what is this character?
Yeah, it's like she doesn't really belong in this universe. Yeah.
and then like the further you go, the more you're like, oh, she's honestly she's honestly almost kind of like a Luna kind of character.
Kind of, where she's a little spacey, but at the same time she kind of understands things better than a lot of characters, like, in the same way. Yeah. She's sort of lost, but also very much knows what's going on at the same time. Yeah, you're right. I didn't connect those dots. But you're right. It is kind of a Luna vibe to it.
Yeah. Sometimes the cinematography was kind of sucky.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
They would hold on to these really long shots that, like, spin around, and it's just like, oh, my head. And you get what they're trying to do.
They're trying to do what Alfonso Cuarón did with Prisoner of Azkaban, where it's like, whoa, look at all these crazy transitions.
But he doesn't.
Swooping around.
Alfonso Cuarón doesn't. He didn't do the shots with that much movement, and he didn't do the movement that quickly.
Yeah. and I don't mean for this to be like a huge diss on David Yates, but Alfonso Cuarón is an excellent director, and he knows what he's doing very much. He's very much a planner, whereas I think David Yates sort of he had a little too much on his plate. I think he tried to do a little too much at once.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Another gripe I have with this movie is how much magic is done without wands. It really annoys me.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Like there are two characters in particular that do magic without a wand all the time, and it really bothers me.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I guess that was a thing, huh?
But then it's like...
It's kind of explained though.
Is it?
I don't think that...
I totally missed that part. A lot of this movie made me feel like an old man, or I was just like, wait, what? It was like, this is too much, this is too fast, I don't know what's going on. So, I didn't catch that.
Colin Farrell's character...
Okay.
Just, like, uses the Force sometimes. And I'm like, no, you... Like, put the wand in that hand and do this, and then it's like, oh, that's real magic, instead of Colin Farrell has the friggin' Force.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of a
right.
wizard he is.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the Force.
We already have sort of talked about our feelings before reviewing this. Did we already talk about how dark it gets?
I think we did.
I think we did. I think we covered that. But yeah, there's a character in this who is scarier than Voldemort, scarier than Umbridge. Like, she belongs in an entirely different movie. Like, I think I said it, her character should be rated R.
Yeah.
Like, just her character. Like,
anytime she's on screen,
terrifying.
You're like, oh, that's why this is a PG-13.
Oh, yeah, like a hard
like,
PG-13. Just for her. Like, just how sort of twisted her character is.
Just not pleasant at all.
No, certainly not. Catherine Waterston. I can see why her name is Waterston, because her eyes were constantly full of tears. like just all the time, just on the verge of crying. Like leave that to Julianne Moore. like when Julianne Moore cries, you know why, and it's great, and it hurts every time. You know, like in the same way that Sean Bean knows how to die, like Julianne Moore knows how to cry, and Catherine Waterston was just constantly just like, even in scenes where it didn't really make sense to me. I'm like, why is she crying?
that didn't, like, that wasn't as obvious and bothersome to me.
Yeah,
I thought that
I didn't even notice people were using magic without wands. So clearly we both had blind spots.
That's completely fair. I thought that she was a pretty good character.
She wasn't a bad character. I was just confused as to why she was crying all the time.
Yeah, just a little weird in how they, like, I guess how Yates directed her.
Yeah, just kind of weird direction. And I think when Yates took over the Potter series, like, there was already a lot established, so he didn't have to do a lot. He didn't have to start a new thing, which this technically is, starting a new thing, so it takes place before. We'll say that right now. This is probably the best franchise prequel
of all time.
I think ever. Yeah. I was definitely nervous about coming into a prequel for a favorite series, because that's happened before. At least twice. So it was a little But this certainly wasn't as bad as the Hobbit movies or the Star Wars prequels. Absolutely not. If just an overall thing for me is I liked it well enough. If another friend is like, hey, you want to go see this weekend? I'll be like, sure. Like, why not? Like, it wasn't a painful experience. I still had a good time. I'd love to watch Dan Fogler again, because he was adorable. And there was a lot of fun aspects of it. It's just, it really was tonally unbalanced. And yeah, parts of it were just like, ooh, like far more intense than anything Harry Potter has done.
Yeah.
Which might not necessarily be a good thing, at least for the series.
We'll see how the other ones come out. Yeah. I feel like just they needed to tone it down a little bit. I mean, like, you want to, like, start it off with a bang, but at the same time, like, I want to know these characters better.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, again, there was a lot of people thrown at us at once, and we didn't really get where all those people are coming from. Yeah, and it was a little. It can get confusing. It can get kind of hard to follow, and it can get kind of hard to relate to at certain points. It sort of tries to, but doesn't quite have the heart of that original series. I'm sort of I would go as far as I'm sort of getting a Legend of Korra vibe from this, where it's a little harder to pin down characters and the situations are more complicated and sometimes a little more confusing, but it's still pretty good. Like I still wouldn't say it's bad. I know it sounds like I hate it from the things I'm saying, but I did overall still have a good time. Also, there's like 10 minutes devoted to catching one creature at one point, and it felt very the tentacle creature in The Force Awakens, where it was like, why is this in the movie? I don't know. I felt like it really was like a huge sidetrack.
Yes, Rathtars.
Is that what it was called? Yeah.
Rathtars are the Force Awakens one.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of creatures in Fantastic Beasts, and where to find those. A lot of beasts, and they're very creative and they're fun.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
but I couldn't keep track of any of the names.
I feel like that 10 minutes that they spend catching that creature is like a good bonding moment for Newt and Jacob.
Yeah.
So like, I'm okay with that. I mean, it was kind of overblown a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I didn't hate that it was there because it's fun to have something for our two main heroes to do together to bond over.
That's fair. Yeah, it was. I guess it kind of was a development moment. I guess what I would say about the whole movie is it's a little sloppy, but overall it still delivers what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I think that is why Jacob is sort of the MVP of the movies, because he is the Harry Potter of the story. He's a guy who's not magic, who is surrounded by magic people.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's like, Harry's not the best character in Harry Potter.
No, certainly not. And that's where it gets even more weird and kind of interesting. Is that his character, not Harry, but Jacob, he is sort of the audience vessel, but he happens to also be very funny and likable and charming. Yeah. He's a very different character. He's the funny side character, but he's also the audience character. So which is kind of cool. You don't see that.
It really works, actually.
Yeah. He was sort of Ant-Man in Captain America Civil War. Where he's just like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, it's like, let's learn about all this stuff.
Yeah, half the fun is just cutting to his reactions to things. He was sort of the Rachel McAdams in Doctor Strange of this movie. Where it's just like, well, now let's just cut to a funny face. and it worked pretty much every time. Should we go into overall thoughts? It's getting kind of long.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I'll see it again. I'll probably see it plenty of times.
I think we'll probably see it again. We all have friends. We went to the midnight showing at 6 o'clock, and there was like 20 people in the theater. It was a bad turnout. And there were more people that were there for the later showing when we came out of the theater.
Yeah, the later showing had a lot more people.
Yeah. Nobody was dressed like us. There was maybe like one or two other people. We miss the good old days. Yeah. Going to a Harry Potter midnight showing. Everybody's dressed like this.
Movie premieres, man.
Yeah, the theater's packed and everyone's cheering and booing, and it's great. And it's a great vibe, and it was a little. I missed it a lot for this.
We probably would have gotten a better theater going experience on Saturday.
Maybe, honestly, yeah, which is strange to think.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Overall, I'm pretty much the same as you, I think. It was a good enough time. I would probably go see it again. There's a lot of qualms I have with it. I'm not a good plot hole guy. I don't always recognize plot holes. I'm sure there's plenty. I don't get them.
If it's not,
it's not like apparent. It's not like The Dark Knight Rises. I'm a bummer. I also think The Dark Knight Rises is very silly and dumb and has enormous plot holes, big enough for me to see. Because apparently The Dark Knight also has plot holes, but I don't I didn't see them.
Yeah. If a movie's good enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. Citizen Kane starts with a plot hole. Like,
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter at all.
No. Zachary, overall thoughts?
I said this movie was Zachary approved.
Well, there you go.
What more do you need? Yeah, we definitely recommend you go see it. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you're gonna get things you like. You're gonna hear words that make you feel happy inside. There's some very funny like miscommunications between like British and American versions of magic. There's some
pretty great.
Funny bits with that.
I like the differences there.
It's nice. It's a very nice touch. Yeah, overall, if you're a fan, you're gonna have a pretty good time either way. I mean, there are huge fans of Harry Potter that hate some of the Harry Potter movies, so some of you will hate this, but a good enough amount of you will understand that this is just kind of supposed to be a good time, and it pretty much delivers on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a foundation. The movie feels really self-contained, but that kind of makes me more excited to see what else they're gonna do.
Yeah. There's gonna be 5 movies. I'm curious.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see you for the next one. We'll probably see you for Moana.
Yeah, Moana, and then we'll probably find something else before Star Wars.
If you see Arrival, we can do an Arrival one.
Yeah, that's true. I should see Arrival.
Go see Arrival. But also this movie.
Support it so we can get more of them.
Yeah, and it can
get better.
Get a little better, yeah. Which I'm sure they will. There's a lot of promise.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of a rocky start.
That happens.
Anyway, yeah. We love you. Good night.
Goodbye.
I'm not going to add any special effects to that.
Tell you
The
should.
Elder Wand. I mean, I'm gonna... Bye.
It's hard to do it every time.